I have no idea. It's such a weird thing because I didn't imagine I get to do this, and then suddenly when I started doing it full time, it was all quite sudden. I'm almost in the moment at the moment and not even thinking about the future. I keep emphasising I'm a nice person, which might mean I'm not. Hello, welcome to CLAUS Backstage, everyone, and also thank you so much for your patience in waiting for us. I know we're a little bit late and it's all my hair's fault. Quite honestly. I don't have an official job title in esports apart from freelancer, but at Blast Pro Series, my typical role would be interviewer, although I have popped up on the desk at Miami.
Hello! Welcome back to the Blast Pro Series Miami live from the WorldClass Center. There is an absolute party going on behind us, but we need to get serious on the desk.
My job is to talk to the players and let the audience know how the players are thinking, feeling, and also let the audience know a bit more about that player as an individual as well as how they play on the server.
We might ask for you as well as Dastan just to make things different.
It's going to be you and Zeus.
You mean tomorrow?
Today you play MIBR tomorrow? Tonight, sir, don't you? Second match?
Oh, Zeus.
So if there's anything you want to say to him, just have some thoughts.
Thanks.
I would like to speak to the teams before we start, just because it's also nice to see kind of how they're feeling, what mood they're in type of thing, because I can sense the nervousness. Kind of makes me nervous as well, especially when I'm doing interviews and someone's upset, then I get really like...
I think the biggest challenge of being an interviewer for Blast is partly that there's a lot going on. So you have 3 matches at a time, and I have stood in Madrid next to Forrest from NIP as he waits to find out if he's going to make it into the final.
Forrest, thank you so much for waiting for me. I know I've had to hold you back because we wanted to see what the result was in the Ents Giants game. But how did it feel to be 3rd place and in that standoff?
I'm not too happy. I mean, I think we kind of screwed up the game against Giants.
So I've sometimes held off doing an interview because we need to find out what the result is going to be, because it's going to have a direct impact on what we do. So sometimes that can be quite hard because partly you don't want to hold the player back, but partly you also feel their emotions. And I'm an empath, I guess, and so the way I do interviews will vary from player to player. You know what, I could be describing NAF or NAF, hyper NAF, or just chilled NAF, right? And so I kind of mirror the way they behave because I want to be on their level rather than trying to bring them to mine.
Thank you so much, Spasiba. Let's head back to the desk.
Thank you, Adrian. Always such a pleasure. Thank you. Cheers. Adrian's so nice. First time I interviewed Adrian, I think, was probably like an exit interview at the major, and I'd never done an exit interview before, and I was really nervous, and I was really bad.
I am 30 years old, so I haven't always wanted to work in esports because esports didn't exist when I was born. So I discovered esports instead when I was a producer for the BBC, and I was producing digital content at the time as a senior content producer, and then I had to cover a League of Legends event, and it was the first time the BBC had done esports coverage. Just when I met the fans and engaged with people on Reddit and found out their feedback and tried to integrate that into the broadcast, I just really liked the people, and I'd always played video games, and I suddenly realised, oh, this could actually be a way into gaming. So I looked up jobs that would help me get there, and to me the first thing I thought of was Twitch. So I ended up 7 months later joining Twitch as a producer, and some of those were esports, but it was mostly more consumer gaming content at events. But then I also noticed sometimes I didn't have a budget for enough hosts, because I use Twitch partners as host streamers. So I'd sometimes pop up on stage and then ended up hosting a weekly show in the evenings. I'd go straight from the Twitch office to a studio in London and host for like 2 hours every week. And then I ended up stage hosting some stuff in the UK for ESL. And then I lost my job at Twitch. Not because I was bad at my job. I had a period where I did 5 continents in 6 weeks or so, or worked in 5 continents in 6 weeks. And that was tough, but the great thing about that was I was doing Counter-Strike. I think one of the key things that's different between esports broadcasting and, say, even traditional sports broadcasting, the team in esports tends to be smaller, and the experts in esports, they are so primed and ready to go. We bring our own knowledge because we're working with different tournament organisers and we're going from place to place to place. But one of the things I find with esports is it's very collaborative, because if you have the best analyst in the world, Sponge, on your broadcast team, well, actually, you'd be mad not to ask him what he thinks you should be covering. And I find that collaborative process something really, really refreshing about esports, because when I was a producer, that's what I always wanted to do as well. I think collaboration is really, really key. But I think I also get to bring in a little bit of that interview training I had at the BBC as well. So I think it's an environment I slotted into quite quickly. They're very different. I think esports is a lot looser and a lot more flexible, and I think that's perfect for the audience that we're broadcasting to.
Hello everyone, I'm stood here with Twister, the coach from ENT, and I've got Little from FaZe. And what I've just discovered is these two used to play together in 1.6. Do you think you can beat these guys today?
Who?
Oh, well there you have it. It's going to be a fiery one, so let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much. You made my job so easy. Thank you. Good luck, guys. Thank you.
No.
We'll head it back to the desk. I said send, it's fine.
Sometimes it will be, I've had a week to prepare and I've got my notes. Sometimes I actually need to refresh. So I'm always looking at interviews and just trying to find out what the players have been saying, because sometimes that's quite useful to kind of call back to when I'm doing interviews. Standings, I'll look at their map pools and things like that. So it's general prep, and also catching up with the talent when they land, because one of the best things about Blast is the talent you get to work with are just so much fun, and it's always such a pleasure to see them. So for example, like, I'm always looking forward to seeing Potter.
I'm really bad at this.
You are so high up.
Oh my gosh!
That's a good one.
Oh, you look amazing!
And I'm finding my voice on stage a lot more, because I never used to trust myself on stage, and I'm pushing myself out there. The audience at a live Counter-Strike event is like no other. I want to try and make sure that I get to meet people here in Moscow, where we're filming right now. It's something that I don't get to necessarily do all the time as an interviewer, so I try and go out and meet people. In esports, like, if you've never seen live esports, no matter what sport you're into, you have to experience it for yourself. You have to find an excuse to just go to an arena and spend time with the fans, because there is nothing else like it. And it's the whole reason I started in esports in the first place. I'm one of those people who cannot watch one screen if there's other things going on. Like airplanes, long haul airplanes are so hard for me, because I can see someone else watching another film, and so I have to like put my hoodie up and just like focus on the screen. I actually need horse blinkers, so if Blast could get me some horse blinkers, I would do a better job, I'm telling you.
Perfect. That's it. That's everything.
Yeah?
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Sorry, I do elaborate sometimes. Hopefully you can edit me down.
Thank you so much.
No worries, no worries.
Frankie, the position for the match reps.
How you doing?
So she's comfortable with it?
Nice to see you. This is one of the challenges sometimes when we don't know how they speak English.